Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Photography Tips and Tricks, your show for gear, tips, inspiration, anything you need to get your photography to the next level. My name is RC, and I'm joined by Mr. Pete Collins. What's going on, Pete?
How you doing?
Good. Running around. I figured I'd jump in, Pete. Pete, you did a phenomenal job a couple weeks ago.
Well, thank you.
You brought the noise.
I tried to give him a little preparing like a pro, talked about it. Hopefully we got some good stuff out of that.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Hey, listen, this is what I wanted to be able to do. I want to kind of follow up on the entire pro thing. On the Kelby TV site, somebody had left a comment, and they talked a little bit about what kind of gear do you use when you're carrying and transporting and you're traveling. I figured it'd be a good time for us to be able to talk about that. Now, this class, or this episode, is brought to you by Kelby Training. Make sure, go to kelbytraining.com and take a look at it. If you want to see pros and you want to see how these guys work, this is a place for you to be able to see it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Any class you want to be able to see, right on kelbytraining.com. Now, they had asked, right, on the Kelby TV site, they were like, well, what do you do? What do you carry? Generally, I carry 2 bags with me, and I know that you're a big fan of this as well.
Yes.
Think Tank has this bag, the Airport International. They have a bigger version of this, right, the Airport V2, and then they have this guy, the Airport International. This holds an incredible amount of gear. So inside of here, when I traveled, I brought a 1DX, 70D, D800, 16-35 for the Canon. I brought a 24-70 for the Canon, 24-105 for the Canon, 70-200 for the Canon, 70-200 for the Nikon, 24-70 for the Nikon, batteries, hard drives, everything, and the computer. I'll show you guys a picture on my Google Plus page if you want to take a look at it.
So you were packing light.
It was packed light.
Yeah.
It was packed light. And one of the reasons that I like to carry this thing is because of the fact that this carries everything that I need. The piece de la resistance for this bag is this part right here in the back. When I'm traveling, I don't necessarily know where this bag is going to end up. And in this case, I was in Guanajuato, Mexico. I had a little bit of reservations, unfounded, right? Because it turned out to be a phenomenal place. But I'm carrying the better part of, $20,000, $25,000 worth of gear.
Yep.
So one of the things that I like as just one level of deterrent is this part right here. In the back of this, you have a steel cable, right? So this steel cable has a lock, and what I'll do is I'll take that steel cable and I'll wrap it to something inside of the hotel room, and I'll make sure that all my stuff stays there. Now you'll see on the front of this, we have here this section that also has a set of locks. So I lock everything in here. My passport, my cameras, and all of that kind of stuff gets locked inside of here, and this gets steel cabled. I actually have a picture of what that looks like when I have that cabled over. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send this over so that they can take a look at it. So this is what it looks like when it's steel cabled, right? So they had a television, and I just wrapped it to the arm of the television. So a lot of my stuff sits there, right? So right off the bat, that's what I do when I pack. The big gear goes inside of here. However, when you get to a location, and this is one of the things that a lot of people don't do, you get to a location and people are like, well, I'm gonna go shooting. And you take this with you the entire time. Not cool. You don't wanna walk around with all that gear. So what I'll do is I'll turn around, and this is the bag that I carry, that I travel with, my clothes. Right? It's a Travel Pro bag, right? And it has a little hook. I can put both of them together and drag them together. Now, inside of here is where all of my clothes goes. And what I'll do is I'll pack a whole bunch of stuff, but probably best that I just show you, right? Now, for the purposes of this conversation, it's empty, right? But what I'll do is I'll just kind of show you what it generally looks like, right? So this is my bag inside of here, and I'll have this. This is a retrospective 20, also from Think Tank. I like that it's very discreet. So this is what I tend to call my deploy bag, right? This is the bag that I'm gonna take on the street when I do something, and this is the tip. What you want to do is you wanna make sure that you have a second bag with you inside of your suitcase, so that when you get to a location, that stuff gets chained up, and the camera that you're gonna use for the day, or the gear that you're gonna use for the day, goes in the smaller bag, and then this is the bag that you take with you. But you don't wanna necessarily carry a third bag. So what I'll do here is I'll pack this inside of here, I'll pack it full of undies, right? I know, I said undies.
You did say undies.
So undies, socks, some of the shirts, all of that stuff gets packed in, and I pack it to the hilt. And I set it all up, and then I take that entire bag and I stick the entire bag inside of the compartment, all packed.
Right.
So now this bag is packed inside of the suitcase that I need.
And you haven't used a lot of space to do that.
No, right, because it's all packed in. So that's the first thing that I'll do from there. The second thing that I usually do is...
You're like a magician.
I know.
Pulling stuff out.
I carry a small tripod. Always find a tripod, find whatever tripod that you can that is going to collapse small enough so that you can bring it with you wherever you go.
Yep.
So for me, I like using this tripod right here. So this tripod is from Really Right Stuff, right? And this is a TQC14 with a BH30 head from Really Right Stuff. This is a very expensive tripod. This tripod is tough as nails. I wanted to be able to get something that was high quality. I wanted to be able to get something that could stand being in water, being in the pool. I've had it up to here in ice and snow and all that stuff. But what you want to do is find something that you can carry with you. For me, the selling point for this was this fits with the head straight down.
And we've had this conversation because I have another tripod that's not as small as this, and I always have to take the ball head off to put it in my bag. And then when I get there, I got to make sure I get it all back on. And every time I see you with that, jealousy does rise up within me.
So it's something that I think is really, really cool. I've even put this in a smaller bag that I have a suitcase. Then I have to take it off and put it in this thing diagonally. But the tripod is only as good as the one that you carry with you. So if you carry it with you all the time, that is something that's absolutely important. And this goes in straight.
Yep.
Not a problem. The other things that I carry with me, obviously other gear that sits inside of there, but this. I don't care where you get it from, guys. Make sure that you always carry with you a desktop tripod, right? This will save your butt so many times. What we'll do with this is whenever I'm going out on location, I carry my regular tripod, I throw this in my coat pocket. Yep. Here's a scenario. I'm in New York. I'm at a party that I'm going to. I grab my tripod because it's on the rooftop of New York. They turn around and they go, hey, big tripod, give me. Are you kidding me? So I turn around and I give them the tripod. I'm like, fine, go right ahead. We go all the way up to the top, the most spectacular view up there. But they had this suicide glass, like these panes of glass that prevented you from falling off the side, but they were like these little gaps. Out comes the desktop tripod from the coat. I had it. You can screw this right into the bottom of a head, right? I'm not looking for trigger. I'm not looking for any kind of movement. Just screw it onto it. I splayed it out, and I took the front foot, and I jammed the front foot in between the panes of glass. That's it. Straight enough for me to be able to hold it. Then from there, took my shot. That shot is the shot that you would see here over on the 500, on my 500px site. So I was able to do a bracketed series, and I got this. Why? Because you're prepared.
Right.
You're walking around with that kind of stuff. In terms of preparedness, I got to show you guys a couple more things that I do from a preparedness standpoint.
I'm glad you brought that out. I was going to steal it. If you didn't grab that out of there, I was going to say you got to go with at least one of those.
Why?
You're always needing to attach something to something. Something's not working. Your bags, you're wanting to hook something, stick someone somewhere. These things are such lifesavers. And until you buy a couple of these and carry them around, you don't realize how much you need these.
Right.
But once you get these and put these in your bag, you're going to use them for everything. They're
You can
just
attach
ball
one
bungees.
bag to another bag. You can attach a camera to...
We fight over these. If somebody, hey, you got an extra bungee?
Yeah, I can take this and I'll strap it around my camera and attach it to a railing if I have to. You can attach camera bags together, so absolutely essential. Now, another trick that I usually tell, whenever I go on location, this is the last kind of clothing trick. Whenever I go on location and I'm gonna go shoot something, I will always take a jacket with me. Unless it's like incredibly hot, then I won't do that. But I always take an extra something with me. Because you'll get to a location, and this happened to me when I was in Prague. I walk into a church, I have the tripod. As soon as I walk into the church, the guy goes, nope, tripod, gone. So, why do I like the retrospective bag? The retrospective bag is square. There's no rounded corners, it has a flat bottom. So guess what I do? I take my jacket off, I take the camera out. So inside of this bag, I'll go ahead and I'll stuff this with the jacket, or I'll have the jacket all set up, and then now I have a square flat surface, right? So from here, out comes the desktop tripod again, screwed onto the camera, and because this will be like a giant square, you get a nice stable platform, and now you can go ahead and shoot. Now, obviously, here it's gonna be a little bit wobbly, but when you stuff something inside of it, it's just a little square. It's like a square beanbag. Set your timer, take your shot, desktop tripod, and bag come in to save the day. And I think at the end of the day, it's that kind of things. You don't want to pack a lot of things, but with just a square bag, a desktop tripod, maybe a bungee cord inside of a suitcase, you can go ahead and be prepared for a bunch of different things that you have with that. Now, you go out and you make the shoot. What happens once the shoot's done, Pete?
Well, since we're talking about bags, I thought I would deal with the whole idea of what happens when you get home.
Okay.
And so I brought in my bag, and here's the deal. Usually what happens after you've shot an event, like say a wedding or whatever, it's the reception goes on late, you're tired, you're bringing all this stuff home, and what invariably happens is the shirt, the tie go off, they get thrown on the floor, and the gear gets thrown on the floor. However, in continuing the whole idea of shooting and preparing like a pro, let's think about if we take 5 minutes out, we can do some stuff that is going to help us the next day. We get caught in this day's over, but oftentimes we have something going on the next day. So I get home, and what happens is I've got all this junk in my bag, and I usually have just thrown it in there to get off the venue, get out of there. I may have triggers, stuff like that. And what needs to happen is when I get home, I need to take those triggers and I need to go ahead and plug them up and plug them in. I need to have a system already set up and in place so when I get home, I take out my batteries that I have used a whole slew of. I got all these batteries bouncing around in my bag. I need to go ahead and hook up the charger and charge them up that night when I go to bed. Because what's going to happen, you're going to find yourself one of these days, and when you do, you're going to look at me and go, I did it too, because I've been burned this way. I get home, I'm tired, I don't take 5 minutes out, take the battery out of my camera, load it up, and go ahead and start charging my batteries for the next day. And so what happens is you get that call the next morning, hey, can you come do this shoot? Can you take care of this? And nothing's ready. Nothing's set up, and you're scrambling around. You're borrowing batteries, you're borrowing all this stuff. You may need to clean some stuff up. You may need to set up all your gear that you didn't do the night before. And this is what I wanted to leave you with. It's very simple, but get into the habit of going ahead and taking stock of what you have the night that you get home. No matter how tired you are, 5 minutes that night will save you a headache and hours of work the next day and the stress. Because the chaos that comes that we talk about will come in the morning, and if you've ignored it, then you can't find your lens cap, or you've got that extra little thing somewhere that you can't find, and you're running around and your kids think you're crazy because you can't find that one piece that you need to go do that shoot. So when you get home with your bag, don't just dump it on the floor. Take 5 minutes, push yourself, get the stuff set up so when you wake up in the morning and the chaos comes, you're ready for it and you're ready to shoot it like a pro.
You know what I love about what you're doing here? How many chargers do you have?
I have 2 chargers.
Right. Why do you have 2 chargers?
Because I have 2 batteries.
Everybody does it. Your batteries are down. So now it's 10 o'clock at night. You get back to a location. Both batteries are down. You set this one to charge. When is this one going to finish?
About 3 in the morning, and you tell yourself, okay, I've got to set the alarm to go charge the other battery.
To try to switch it. Do you ever set it?
No.
Do you ever wake up?
No.
No. So what do? Second battery.
Second battery.
Put both of them in there. So it's just those little things that nobody talks about that really do help in the long run. Thanks so much, Pete, for that.
Yep, one last thing.
Sure.
If you're using triggers or whatever, always recharge them, because the worst thing you can do is get on set and come along, and that one little thing right here is not charged enough, and you spend the rest of the day making apologies because you can't fire off your flashes the way you need to. Nice. That one's a killer right there.
Nice. All right, well, cool. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about one piece of software that I use when I'm in a crunch to be able to do some edits. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. RC here for Photography Tips and Tricks. Now, I wanted to talk to you about this process, and we were talking about pros traveling, pros coming back from an event, and the kinds of things that you could do to kind of speed up stuff, right, and make things a little bit better. This was something that I was asked before, and I kind of wanted to just fill it in. What happens when you need to be able to go through a lot of images very, very quickly, and you need to be able to find some good stuff there? A lot of the times I'm a big fan of Lightroom, and I'll use Lightroom for all of that kind of production. But there's one thing that I don't like about Lightroom. Sometimes when you want to try to find the best image that's in there, you'll see that there's like a half a second delay between one file and another file, one file and another file. So watch this. I'm going to go inside of Lightroom, and inside of Lightroom, I'll go ahead and I'll start that up. I'll just show you a perfect example. I'm going to go over here, and let's say that I want to take a look at this picture, right? I'm going to move here. Now, all of these have been cached, but did you see that inside of here, there's a spot where you'll get to it. It'll be like loading, right? Loading, loading, that'll be loading. You don't really know. And then you want to try to, there's a loading. I'm going to zoom in here. Loading, 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 right? I don't necessarily need to wait all of that time. I want to be able to hit these files fast. Boom, 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 boom. I don't want to waste that time. The second and two, if you have 3,000 shots, 2,000 shots, 1,200 shots, every second that you wait is a second that's going to add to your workflow. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll call on another program to help me. That program is this one here, Photo Mechanic. Photo Mechanic is a program that's known for sports shooters, reporters, and things like that, for being able to do metadata tagging, and they add all of this caption information. But one of the things that it does extremely well is previews of images very, very fast. So if I were to grab a folder and I were to throw it in here, I can view it very quickly. So my workflow changes a little bit. What I'll do is I'll dump my card onto the desktop rather than import it into Lightroom first. Once the card is dumped, or the cards are dumped into a master folder, I'll grab that master folder and I'll drag it into Photo Mechanic. Having it there, I'll see all of the images that I want to work with. Now, if I double click on one of the images, it brings me to this preview section, and watch this. Down, 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 down. There is no hesitation. You can fly right through this and there is zero lag. You can see exactly which one's in focus, which one isn't in focus, as fast as I can hit it. That is the big, big advantage when you're working with this. So now, take a look, that's Guanajuato. This is a huge file, zero lag. So that's a good thing. From here, I want to be able to say, this is garbage, this isn't garbage. So there's a couple things that I want to be able to do. Right from inside of Photo Mechanic, you can go ahead and you can set image, set color class of photos, and you'll see that Command 1 is winner, Command 8 is trash. So if I did Command and Control 1, winner, Command and Control 8, trash. That's what I'm going to do to be able to sort that stuff out. But I don't want to sit there, Command 1, Command 8, Command 1, Command 8. That would be dumb. What I'm going to do here is I want to change one thing. Inside of Photo Mechanic, I'm going to go to Preferences. Inside of the Preferences, I'm going to go down to Preview. And in Preview, there's an option that says automatically advance to the next photo when tag is changed, color class is changed, and rating is changed. Check those all. Make sure that they're all set up. So, step one. Once you have that set, then what I like to do is I use my Wacom tablet, right? With my Wacom tablet, a lot of the times you can go ahead and draw and do editing and all that stuff. I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm going to use these buttons right here. So what I'll do is I'll go into my system preferences of my computer, and inside of here I have my Wacom tablet collected, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an application. In this case, I have Photo Mechanic already there because it's launched in the list. I'm going to click on OK. Now that I have that set, I'm going to go over to the functions of the tablet, and I'm going to remap this for Photo Mechanic. Oh, let me go grab that again here. So now, the functions, when I'm using Photo Mechanic, this top button automatically is set for touch on and off. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to make that a keystroke. The keystroke that I'm going to make it, I'm going to do Command 1. What's the name of that? Winner. Click OK. So now, I'll go down here. The keystroke at the bottom is going to be this one, Command 8. That's going to be trash. And I'm going to click OK. That's it. So now, once this program is running, when Photomechanic is running, the Wacom tablet is now set so that the top button is the winner, the bottom button is the trash. So guess what? I stay completely away from this. I stay completely away from the computer. I sit back. I have it on a big screen, and all I do is just do this. Click, 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 click. That's all. I'm watching the screen, and as I'm watching, I'm doing this. Winner, 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 trash, 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 winner, 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 trash, 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 trash. And I can still use the scroll. I can set up my scroll wheel to kind of go backwards and forwards if I want for keystrokes. But now, all I'm doing is just sitting back and just going, there we go. Winner, winner, trash, winner, winner, trash, 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 winner, 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 trash. And I'm just sitting back and I'm just editing. And look at, this is all I'm doing. Right? I don't have to buy a special controller. I don't have to necessarily work on anything else. It's just click, 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 click. What happens is a lot of the times people get used to focusing on the interface and then you're not focusing on the picture. So I keep the interface away so that all I have to do is just focus on the picture itself. By putting that tablet in my hand and all I'm doing is just pressing, I'm looking at the picture, I'm focusing just on the picture. Once all of that stuff is done, I have the option then to come over here, I'm gonna close all of this out, and I can sort this. So if I just wanna be able to see winners or I just wanna be able to see trash, I'm gonna go ahead and just bring all of this down, and now that shows me winners, trash. So I can go through all of the files, and now that I have that done, I can go ahead and select and delete. Once I get rid of all of the trash, now I can go back into Lightroom. I'll just drag it into Lightroom, re-import it, but I've gotten rid of all of the garbage. So in a pinch, I don't do that all the time, but if I'm doing a wedding, if I'm doing a commercial shoot, if I'm doing something that it's gonna be time sensitive, I wanna be able to weed it as fast as possible. For that, Photomechanic, I think, is invaluable. If you want to take a look at more of that kind of stuff, you can just go to Photomechanic, and the website is actually CameraBits. So you go to camerabits.com, under products, you should be able to see Photomechanic. Totally, if you're in the production, totally worth it, totally worth it. Now, we got a couple things for you, right? We have some prizes, we have a website for you to take a look at, and we have your contest. The website that I want you to take a look at is Michael Bonacore Photography. Now, Michael Bonacore is a photographer for SmugMug, right? So he works in SmugMug and he takes care of all of that stuff on the SmugMug side of it. But in addition to that, he is a phenomenal photographer. If you want to take a look at some amazing work, the best place for you to be able to do that is over at michaelbonacore.com. You can connect to him there on Twitter, you can connect to him on Google+, but aside from being a great guy, he really is a heck of a shooter, and he's got some stunners right on that site. That's a great fountain for inspiration. Now, contest time. What do I want you to do? I want you to go to the Kelby TV website. On the Kelby TV website, I want you to go to Photography Tips and Tricks. Inside of here, go to the most current episode that we have, scroll all the way down to the bottom, put in your name, put in your email, put in your website, tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you want to see next season. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. We want to be able to hear from you. This is your show. So you're going to be able to connect with us right here on kelbytv.com, and one of you guys is going to win this set. You're going to win Rogue Flash Gels. If you want to take the colors of your gels and you want to move them around artistically or color correction, you can do it with this. You're going to win the Digital Photography Book, Part 2, Second Edition by Scott Kelby. You're going to win the DSLR Pop-Up Flash Booster from Rogue as well. And you're going to win the brand new book from Frank Dorhoff, Mastering the Model Shoot. So you've got a couple of books to kind of keep you inspired. You've got some instruments to be able to help your work, and all you need to do is go to this one section right here in the contest and fill it out. Now, the last thing that I want to leave you with is the PeachBit ebook deal. You want to go to peachbit.com/KelbyTV, enter in the code KelbyTV, and you're going to get 40% off of this book. Great for inspiration and 40% off thanks to PeachBit. Now, as we close out another year, we'd like to thank our members for your viewership. We've got big things coming in January, so if you've loved being a part of our community in 2013, 2014 is going to be guaranteed to be even better. Check out the link, kelbytraining.com/creativesunite for more information. Guys, you're not gonna wanna miss this. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Anyway, this is the end of the show for the season. I hope you guys tune in next season here on Photography Tips and Tricks. We're very grateful for your viewership. Until then, my name is RC. I'll see you guys next season.